This is the Savvy Investor radio show and podcast with Mike Kinnett and Ryan Herbert of ProStatus Financial, now celebrating 20 years helping families build successful retirements and lasting family legacies. Mike is a financial planner and estate planning attorney with a master's degree in tax and 4-time Amazon best-selling author. Ryan is a 5-star Wealth Management Award winner and top-ranked financial advisor by Forbes. Now, the Savvy Investor radio show and podcast.
All right, it is the Savvy Investor YouTube channel and a great episode that we have for you here with Ryan Herbert, how to lower 401k fees. I got to ask you this, though, first, Ryan. There's really no way around fees. I think we all know that. Something costs something. But did you read about the guy in Jersey who decided to skip tolls while crossing in and out of New York City for over a 4-year period? Can you believe that? He thought he was getting away with it until he got a claim from the New York Port Authority that he owed $30,000 in unpaid tolls. And of course, they're going to charge him interest. So there's no escaping fees.
But I mean, imagine that 4 year. If you're living in New Jersey and commuting back and forth to New York City over a 4-year period, you're going to pay $30,000 in tolls. That is ridiculous.
You know, when I hear that, I automatically think of the Sopranos. You know, when they're when the show is starting and you got Tony Soprano driving. You know, he's driving through the tolls and all that stuff. He's driving through Jersey. That's who I think of. And you know, is the Port Authority gonna do a claim on Tony Soprano?
Yeah. You know, I have family up in New York and I don't enjoy driving up there, mostly because it's the New York area, but the tolls, I mean, it's like to drive from Baltimore up there.
Crazy.
I think it's close to $100 worth of tolls just to get out to Long Island. So yeah, it's nuts. I can imagine trying to avoid it. The same thing with trying to avoid, reduce your fees in your 401ks or things like that, for sure.
I love it. And that's a great transition, because I always hear you guys talk about, and I want to get to this list of 3 things here, but I always hear the two of you, Mike Kinnett and you, Ryan Herbert, talk about a lot of people don't know that they're paying fees, number one, and don't know how much fees they're paying. That's a big shocker to people.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Well, I don't see it, so it must not be there, I guess, because with most 401ks, you can't find the actual fees. I don't think I've ever really seen a 401k statement that shows you here's how much you're paying in fees. And there's a really hilarious, I think it was the Daily Show that did it. Might not have been the Daily Show. He's a British gentleman, John Oliver. So John Oliver was doing his version of the Late Show, but he did this whole expose on 401k fees, and he was using the television company's 401k plan. I don't remember if he's NBC or CBS, but it was with John Hancock. That's who the 401k fee thing was through. And he was going and asking all the employees that worked for him, the boom operator, the dressing room staff, everybody. Do you know how much you're paying in fees? Do you know how much you're paying in fees? And he went through it, and they were ended up paying like 4.15, almost 5% in 401k fees. And these people had no idea what's going on. And if you think about it, all that money that you're dumping into that 401k, right off the top, when you go to take that money out, you're giving away 20 to 30% of it to the government in taxes. But then all along the way, you're paying them 2, 3, 4% a year to be inside of that 401k. For better or worse, you don't really have an option. You have to use that 401k that's sponsored by your employer, the 401k, your 403b, your 457. Thankfully, the TSP, what the government has is pretty low cost, under 1% to be in there. But for all of us private sector workers who are not part of the government, we pretty much are kind of at the mercy of whomever our employer has chosen to work with, whether it's John Hancock or T. Rowe or Vanguard or, Prudential or Nationwide or any of those companies. They all charge something because they're all out there to make a living. They're not doing this advertising that you see on the NFL games. The Monday night game was in Philly, Lincoln Financial Field. Lincoln Financial is a very large 401k company. They're not doing it for free. so that they can do all that advertising. That's how they're paying for it to kind of keep all this going. So, one of the important things that you can do to kind of get around to the answer here really is, look into the plan summary, the plan documents of your 401k. You get a copy of it. They're supposed to give you a copy of it every single year. Read through that document and truly find out exactly how much you're paying for the administrative costs of the 401k. That's the cost of them running the plan, doing the accounting, taking the contributions, keeping track of the investments, all that stuff. Find out how much you're paying there. That's the very first step.
All right. So step one is find out what you're paying. Another great solution to lower your 401k fees is taking a look at your investments. I hear this all the time. I have no idea what I'm invested in.
Yeah, well, it's not so much, you want to review your investments because you want to make sure that number one, like you said, what you're invested in. You want to make sure that you have the right allocation of stocks versus bonds, large cap versus small cap, that type of thing. But you want to know how much each investment is costing you because not everything is the same. If you're in a 401k plan and you have mutual funds available to you from American Funds and T. Rowe Price and Vanguard and Fidelity. Well, chances are, off the top of my head, chances are those American Funds ones are normally the ones that are going to cost more than maybe one from Vanguard. And, if you look at it, obviously you want to look at the performance, but why would it make sense if you're in one mutual fund that costs you 2.5% to own it and it's invested in the S&P 500 or a large cap growth fund from American Funds? Why would you pay 2.5% from that one if you can go to Vanguard and buy their large cap growth mutual fund and it costs you 0.75%? Mm-hmm. If the underlying holdings in them is pretty much the exact same thing, why pay more for this one fund over here when you can get the exact same thing, albeit you're going to get better performance out of the cheaper one, simply because you're not paying 2.5% in fees over here. Now you're paying 0.75%. So look at the underlying investments. Look at how much each of them costs and try to compare them against each other so you know where the best place to be is potentially. Just because it is the cheapest option out there also doesn't make it the best one for you. So you want to make sure you're doing your research when you're comparing these things.
Which brings us to number 3 on the things that you can do to lower your 401k fees. Number 1 is find out what you're paying right now. Number 2 is take a look at your investments. And by the way, we do this YouTube episode and we have the YouTube channel for educational purpose. So that way you guys can learn. But if you do want to reach out to Ryan and the team, you can click on the description in the link below here and schedule a complimentary personalized review with the team at ProStatus. So number 3 on the list is paying for independent. Again, gotta underscore that independent investment advice. I think you just stated the fact that why that's so important, but tell us a little bit more about that, why it's so important to have someone that is independent.
Well, there's 2 separate ways you can go about doing this. Number 1, some financial plans, some of these 401k plans, some of these retirement plans offer a financial advisor that kind of goes along with it, or they offer a managed portfolio. I'm using my quotes here, a managed portfolio to where you can fill out a risk profile and then it's automatically doing the buying and selling. It's automatically allocating you in it, or you can have an advisor that you can call. But the thing to be conscious about that is those services are not free. Already you're paying for the administrative costs of your 401k, and then you're paying for the cost of the underlying investments. And now you're paying for this automatic risk service, whatever you want to call it, or a robo-advisor, or you're paying for a financial advisor as part of the plan. That's maybe another 1-2% on top of that. So all of a sudden, instead of trying to be as low cost as possible with your plan, you could be paying 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5%. So you want to make sure you know exactly what you're paying for. You want to try and do your own advice. And it's one of those things, well, yes, you can go out to an outside person like Mike, myself, or, a financial advisor and ask them their opinion on what you're doing. That is one of the services that Mike and I offer is you can come in for a complimentary consultation. All you have to do is click on that link in the description below and it'll schedule an appointment with Mike and myself and we can talk about your 401k. But all of these hidden fees, all of these hidden costs are one of the reasons why Mike and I say, if you're no longer with your employer, your retirement plan should not be with them anymore. Get the money away from them. Whether you're choosing to use a financial advisor to help you do this or you're doing it on your own, by pulling the money out of that 401k, most of the time, you can really lower your costs and you can control your costs. I mentioned that the TSP is one of the lowest cost retirement plans out there. That's the government 401k plan. Mm-hmm. You know, you can pull all your money out of your retirement plan with T. Rowe. You can pull it out with Vanguard and you can go open an IRA with T. Rowe or Vanguard or Fidelity or Charles Schwab. And you can just go out and buy yourself some low cost index ETFs. Are going to cost you 0.1, 0.05%. But then you're doing it all on your own. Or you can choose to work with a financial professional like Mike and myself and our team here at ProStatus. And then you're going to pay somewhere around 1 to 1.5%, including the cost of the investments. But you have somebody looking out for you, looking out for your best interest, taking all the stress of retirement, taking all the stress of making those decisions. Am I in the right fund? Do I have too much money here? Should I start to pull the money out when this happens in the market? If you want to find out more about how we can work together, how we can help put you on that path to retirement, click on the link in the description below and I'll schedule a complimentary consultation with myself, Mike, and our team here at ProStatus. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as well.
There you have it. 3 things that you can do to lower your 401k fees. Let me recap that for you. Find out what you're paying right now. Number 2, take a look at your investments. And number 3, pay for independent investment advice. Great information there. Great advice from Ryan Herbert. And of course, the team at ProStatus Financial Advisors Group. And of course, here on the Savvy Investor YouTube page. As Ryan mentioned, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends as well. Got to wrap things up for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys got a lot out of this. If you don't, reach out and ask questions. Ryan, you get the final word.
This is Ryan Herbert. Thank you so much for watching the Savvy Investor YouTube show, and we'll see you, the Savvy Investor, next time.
Advisory services offered through ProStatus Financial Advisors Group, a registered investment advisor. Insurance licensed in Maryland. ProStatus Financial Advisors Group, LLC is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if ProStatus Financial Advisors Group is licensed in your state, please call 410-863-1040. ProStatus Group, LLC is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through representatives of ProStatus Financial Advisors Group.